Hello, everyone. I am Heather with Magnificent Mommas. We are joined here today with author Colleen Tews. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Like I said, my name is Colleen Tews. I'm an author of dark fantasy, urban fantasy, and paranormal romance. With some cozy murder mysteries in there as well, with some witchy ones.
How many books do you have published to this date?
I have 4 books published right now. I'm currently working on 2 more.
Nice. What genre are the new ones?
Let's see here. The first one, Broken Vows, is a dark fantasy. It's in my Vampire Vixen series. It's the 3rd book there. And then I'm also working on Oathbreaker, which is a paranormal romance. It's the 2nd book in my Dream Prophet trilogy.
Nice. Is it hard to work on 2 different series at the same time?
Yes, very much so. But it's very creative. I get to bounce back and forth between vampires and werewolves and witches, so I get to broaden my horizons every which way I turn.
Do you want to go ahead and tell us a little bit about your books that you've already got published?
Sure. My first book that I ever published was Birth of a Vixen. It's the first book in my Vampire Vixen series. It's about this girl, Angela Vista, who becomes a vampire, but hates what she is. Is actually possessed by her dead sire, who does all the hunting and everything for her. But when a vampire revolution breaks out, she gets caught up in the middle of it all and has to basically face what she is, as well as try to figure out what has happened to her best friends. They meet on an untimely demise, and she has to figure out why and who did it. But yeah, that's my baby. That was my first book that I ever wrote. Takes place in Kent, Ohio. Figured nice university town with some hippie vibes to it.
Nice.
And then there's also my the first book in my Dream Prophet trilogy, Awakening. Takes place between it's a paranormal romance with some enemies to lovers trope in there. There's a civil war going on between werewolves and witches. And Ryan Leto, she is a witch who can shapeshift into a wolf. And when the alpha werewolf passes away, there's this big battle royale that she infiltrates to find out who's going to be the new alpha. And lo and behold, she finds her soulmate, and he happens to be a werewolf. So it kind of lends itself to what's going to happen next. Can the relationship even last? And what does it mean for the actual civil war if these soulmates can exist?
How did she become a witch that can shift into a werewolf? Is it like one parent's a witch, one parent's a werewolf, or?
Well, I don't want to give away too much.
Yes,
that's what happened. But let's just say there is a family issue.
Okay.
And it goes back to ancient Greece.
Ah, interesting. Very interesting. Never mind. I'm not going to ask that question if you don't want to give too much away. I'm very curious, though, but, we can't give it all away because then the readers won't.
The latest book that I also have, my witchy, cozy murder mysteries. The title of that is Onyx. And it takes place in a made-up town here in Ohio. Basically, Raven Sinclair has to return to her home that she grew up in because her sister Onyx was murdered.
Oh, no.
And she uses magic to find out who did it, why they did it, and turns out it's actually a serial killer.
Excuse me, everybody. Sorry, that was couldn't hold that one back. I told you I'm laid back. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I almost give you my books, so it's okay.
I'm real, and I think everybody says a swear word every now and then. So
yeah.
So where do you find your inspiration for your stories?
For Onyx and Dream Prophecy, I had dreams and took those dreams and just ran with them. For the Vampire Vixen series, I actually used to be a big LARPer and live action role play.
Yeah. I had to think about that for a second. I was like, I know what that is. And then I thought of the Supernatural episode where they were doing that.
Oh yeah, I love that episode.
The redheaded girl and stuff like that. Yeah. I was like, I know what that is, and then I had to just picture it in my head.
Yeah, well, I used to do White Wolf Edition, which was the vampire, and so my original character was Angela Vista, and so I'm writing her story.
That's cool. That's definitely a unique interest, I would say. Maybe not, you might not think so, but I think that's a really unique interest to do that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's actually how I met my husband. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, I seduced and killed his character, and it was true love ever since.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Like, and I say awesome too much. I've realized that over the past couple days, but that is like epic on so many levels. How would you say your approach to writing is?
I try to be diligent. I try to write every day at least 6 pages.
Mm-hmm.
It's an old Stephen King reference. He always said, if you write 6 pages in 30 days, you'll have a novel. And so I try to abide that. I have a rough outline to each of my stories, so that way I can keep track of how things are supposed to be progressing. Now, the characters don't always play along, but
Whoa.
but I do try to keep them back on the same track, or at least get the main points out.
Yeah. I know there's so many different people in the writing community. Like, some people say, you need an outline, you have to have an outline. And then there's others like me, for instance, where I'm just right by the seat of my pants, like picture it all in my head and then I'm writing it all out.
Yeah, like I said, I try to outline, but a lot of times the characters just do what they want to do. And it feels more fluid and more alive that way.
I agree completely. Do you have a favorite character or scene from your story that is special to you? I mean, obviously you connect and you build and you love them and like they're real. So that was just a question. I was asked to ask an author. So
I have several that stick out in my mind. But I think when Angela first meets her ghoul, her human servant, and when she first feeds off of him for the first time, there's a level of connection that is made because they're able to see in each other's minds.
Yeah.
That really stand out for me. It's very personal. It's very in depth, and it really made her ghoul Albert stand out amongst the crowd of characters.
Sounds like it'd be a very intimate type of situation.
Yeah, it really is.
What role do you think literature plays in society, and how is storytelling important?
Wow, that's a big question. Literature is vital to who we are. It sheds light on us in that moment, on our humanity, natures, our demeanors, our just everyday life. Without it and without storytelling, I think we'd just be shells of ourselves. And it provides a nice escape from what's going on in the world. And I think without that escape, we wouldn't have balance. And literature provides that, whether it's in book form or in adaptations of movies or television.
Do you think that, with technology's advancements, with the ebooks and stuff like that, do you think literature has declined or progressed, if that makes sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. Or
a little bit of both, maybe.
Yeah, because you get bombarded by so much that you don't know what is good or what is, I don't want to say bad, but
not your cup of tea, maybe.
Right. And then with AI, I think that's where the shadow comes from, and being too much. It's outright theft.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk in the community right now about AI and AI writing and AI covers. And
I fully admit that when I first published What I Was Within, I used an AI cover when it first launched.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt guilty. I felt very guilty for it and changed it within 10 days.
Oh, wow.
And I came out and I'm like, look, I used AI for the cover and I feel horrible for this. Here's the new cover. And people really responded to that. They were like, thank you.
So they didn't like the first cover then?
Oh no, it was gorgeous.
They just knew that it was AI and
Yeah.
for whatever reason just couldn't respect that, I guess.
Yeah, and I did it more for myself than I did for them.
Mm-hmm.
I do make my own covers without AI.
Yeah.
And I think a level of my professionalism had been hindered when I sunk to that level of using AI.
That makes sense. Here's another one for you. If there are genres or topics that you haven't wrote about, like, so you write fantasy, say like horror or romance or something, what one genre would you write if you had to write in a different genre?
Well, considering there is some horror and some romance mixed in with my novels,
I was just using that as like an example.
yeah, I don't really do like straight literature because I like the paranormal aspect of things. But I don't know, romance would be fun. Get a little in depth and
Little closed door action.
yeah.
That's awesome. I'm always curious to see what people say when I ask them that. I don't ask all the time that question, but I'm always curious to see what people say. Do you hope to leave behind a legacy as a writer, and what do you think it would be?
Oh, I would love to leave behind a legacy. I would love to someday be up there in the rankings with like Stephen King and Dan Brown and just all of those best-selling authors that are just household names. That would be a dream come true for me.
The names that everybody knows.
Yeah.
If you could sit down and co-author a book with anybody, whether they're alive or dead, who would it be?
I think Laurel K. Hamilton, because we kind of mesh together. I think we would see things in a similar light and would work really well together.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of who that is off the top of my head. I feel like I should know it, but...
She's the author of the Anita Blake series.
Okay, yep. That makes sense. I could see that. Okay. If you could bring one of your characters to life for a day, who would it be and what would you do?
I think that would have to be Angela Vista because I'm so close to her. Maybe we'd go out and party.
Hey, well, I mean, that's fun.
We wouldn't be able to do much during the day because
It'd have to be nighttime.
Yeah. But I think at nighttime, I think we could definitely go out and maybe hit the club.
That would be a wild experience, I'm sure.
Yeah.
For you and for her.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any like deleted scenes or subplots from one of your books that didn't make it to the final version?
No, actually, all of my, if anything, I build on the scenes instead of deleting them.
Yeah. Okay. If your book was made into a movie or TV series, who would your dream cast be for the main characters?
Oh, that's a tough question. I don't know.
And they could be alive or dead. It doesn't matter.
I would like maybe a young Angelina Jolie to play Angela. And wow, I don't know.
It's a hard question.
It is a hard question. But yeah, I would love a movie series for my Vampire Vixen series. I think it would work better as movies rather than television. Although it might work good on like HBO. I don't know. My husband and I have actually been rewatching True Blood, so
I have a character in one of my stories. His name is Bash, and when I think of him, like I picture kind of like a combination of Damon from Vampire Diaries, and then I don't know if you've ever watched Shadowhunters.
Yeah,
but what is his name? I know his name. I can picture him in my head. The main character with Larry, the guy.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Who she's in love with him. Kind of like a mesh of the two of them together.
Oh, that'd be nice.
It would be interesting for sure. If you could time travel to any period or movement, which one would you visit and why?
I think the American Revolution. It's just a time of period where so much feels alive and hopeful that I would love to be a part of that.
I like the Civil War. I think I'd want to be trying to help everybody in war times, but that's just me. I like to help people.
Awesome calling.
It is, and that's been my calling all my life. I was in healthcare as a CNA, and like that was a great experience. It's it's definitely a different experience because there's so much. You have so many meaningful moments in your life you'll never forget, as well as, you know, the rough ones, the hard ones, emotional. You meet people from all walks of life. It's amazing. But, you know, I've done so much and helped people in other ways as well, which is why doing this, I want to help authors get their books out there. And that's why I offer free promotional stuff, because I get it. Publishers, you know, charge an arm and a leg if you go that route. And sometimes, you know, they might offer, you know, promotional stuff, or maybe their promotions and marketing aren't the greatest. And I'm not dissing on publishers in any way, shape, or form, so don't think that. But sometimes they need a little extra boost. And say you sunk all your money into publishing, then what? I mean,
Right. I appreciate it.
yeah. So that's my goal, why I try to offer free, because I think everyone should have a chance for free promotion, to get their book out there, to be heard, you know. And I see so many people offering similar services, and they charge thousands and thousands of dollars. And it's like, I can tell you, you're in it for the money. You're not in it for the author. That's what matters to me. And I think there's so much in this world where people are just in it for a profit or something like that, and not to actually uplift and help. And I want to help. So anyways,
well, thank you.
You're welcome. Can you share a piece of writing advice that you found to be particularly helpful or unconventional?
Well, aside from Stephen King's, writing it 6 pages every day, that was very helpful because it helps you to stay diligent and consistent. Find your voice. It's not easy to do, but once you do, you find your voice, everything seems to fall into place.
That's an important one, and whether it's authors or not, finding your voice is important in general, because, I mean, you need to be able to self-express and have an outlet. If you don't, then, as you said earlier, you're kind of just going to be a shell. If you could ask one question to any fictional character ever created, what would it be and who would you ask?
I have like a stream of thought going on in my head as to all the characters I could think of.
It's hard to decide on one, I feel like.
It is. It really is. I think I would have to ask my own character, Ryan Leto, I'd ask her why she didn't explore her heritage closer to begin with.
That's a good one. And I can respect asking your own character a question.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Do you have anything else you want to share today about your books or your writing in general, or?
Well, I have a monthly newsletter that goes out. You can go to my MailChimp site, colleentews.mailchimpsite.com, or just colleentews.com. I have my blog there, a list of all my books and what's coming up next. And yeah, I'm available on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I actually got I got recognized for my TikTok videos at a convention I was working at last month.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
I was like, I only have 500 followers. Are you one of them?
That's awesome, though. I mean, I had never looked at TikTok until a couple months ago, to be honest, like 100% honest. Like, I just figured it's more like a teenage thing, and I wasn't going to deal with it, you know? And my daughter was showing me this video one day on TikTok. She's 15. I homeschool her. And I was like, okay, it was a girl that made these dresses, and it was cool. But so we were sitting there watching her videos, and so then we're scrolling through there, and I was like, this is not as bad as I thought it was. And now I have TikTok, but, still small, but now I'm getting into it a little more, so.
It keeps fun. The further you go down into it, the more fun it becomes.
Further down the rabbit hole.
Yep.
So, definitely.
On March 16th at the Fairlawn, Ohio Barnes & Noble, I will be doing a spring local author event with a reading and a Q&A session. And then in April, I will be at Black Cat Books and Oddities in Medina, Ohio. They're doing a murder mystery event. I'll be featuring my book, Onyx. So it'll be a lot of fun.
That's awesome. We'll have to make sure we share that on our social media for you.
Oh, thank you.
So that people see and know where to find you. And we will also share your links from Linktree, you said, right?
It's not Linktree,
No, I don't know why I thought you said Linktree. But all your links on social media, your blog, website, links to your book, and everything once this gets posted. So
thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today. And unless you have anything else to say, I think that we can go ahead and wrap up.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Thank you again so much, Colleen. It's been a pleasure. Oh, and I'm going to get your books and read them because they sound amazing and something I would totally like. So
awesome. Thank you.